This is a review for one of the best episodes of this season. If you don't agree with me, I really don't know what I can do to fix our relationship. I feel like I am the only one trying. At the end of this review is a chance to win a $20 gift card to Amazon. So that episode happened, and I'm pretty sure I lost my mind. So we're gonna start in Meereen, and then I will end in the north. I'm happy that Daenerys understood with how she left them last, with their city being attacked from within. Tyrion did the best he could. She couldn't reasonably expect the city to be in perfect condition when she left in the middle of the Son of the Harpies attacking. So I'm super glad she realized that Tyrion wasn't a complete fuck-up, and actually a valuable advisor. Man though, her burn them all and return their cities to dirt line, that was some serious Mad King channeling. Though the showrunner said that Daenerys doesn't have her father's madness, so I doubt we're going full Mad Queen quite yet. They did say we've slowly been seeing her become a Targaryen more and more as the seasons went on. Which I get, Targaryens are all about fire and blood, but not all Targs are ruthless as they would lead us to believe. She right now, and excuse this reference, in a way kind of reminds me of the Doctor from Doctor Who with how she's acting. Part of the reason he has companions is to help him from going too far. They kind of dial him back. As long as Daenerys has her advisors and she listens to them, especially when they need her to dial back, she'll be good. But Aerys II also listened to his advisors in hand for a long time, and the realm prospered because of it. Until he stopped listening. Can Daenerys fight becoming like her father? The showrunners seem to think that she's different than her father and doesn't have his craziness, as I mentioned before, so it leads me to believe that she will be able to. So then Daenerys meets with the Masters, and they are all full of sass and smugness, which they thought Daenerys was gone, and even with her back, they were under the assumption she couldn't control her dragons. I really appreciated one of the Masters calling Daenerys the Beggar Queen. If we remember, Viserys, her brother, was called the Beggar King, and it absolutely destroyed him. Seeing Daenerys being called this and being able to rise above it just proves through and through she's the better sibling. Alright, so Daenerys tells the Masters that her reign has just begun, and then Drogon lands next to her, and I swear I could see him saying, "Hi, Mom! How did I do? Did I scare the other kids?" And I freaked out and screamed that holy shit, she now has control of Drogon completely, which means she has control of the other dragons because he's the alpha and biggest and they're going to listen to him, and that was absolutely right. And I know some people exaggerate and say, oh my god, I screamed, whatever. I literally started screaming. I'm probably the worst person to watch Game of Thrones with because there's lots of pausing and yelling and yes. Some of the best Targaryens had control of only one dragon. Seeing a Targaryen with control over 3, or control by extension, I was screaming. This is huge and makes her so very dangerous. But, so the dragons were free in the pyramid and they just honestly chilled there? Were they just happy to be unchained and fed down there? Kinda weird, but I forgive it for the CGI love fest we got. At first, the 3 dragons focusing on one ship kind of bothered me, because they didn't need to be all on one, but then I understood it was the show of ability. Hey, I have control of all 3 dragons, and we will decimate you. Do you really want to play war with me? Plus, she needed the other ships, so destroying that one was a great way to get her message across and keep the rest of the fleet for her own purposes. A little worried about Daenerys' lack of saddle. That's a staple of Targaryens and their dragons. Even Aegon the Conqueror had a sexy dragon saddle. The entire time she was on Drogon, I kept fearing she was going to fall. Doesn't seem like the safest position, but after riding with the Dothraki, she got super butt and thigh muscles, so she probably just has super legs by now, but it did make me think of this. How terrifying would it be to go against Daenerys at this point? She has the Unsullied, second sons, a Dothraki horde, and can now control 3 dragons. How do you beat that? She's in a better position than Aegon the Conqueror, army-wise, if she can just get them all over. And despite the realm being more knitted than back in Aegon the First Day, the Seven Kingdoms is struggling right now. It would be super easy pickings, which means that's too easy. Daenerys isn't getting to Westeros and taking over the Seven Kingdoms. She's getting to Westeros and seeing the absolute devastation of the Seven Kingdoms, and will have to fight a war against the others. Which, what a great surprise. You finally get to Westeros to take back a throne, and instead you have to clean up their mess and deal with some undead guys. However, if she fights this epic battle to save Westeros, the people will likely accept her more easily. Lastly on this scene, the three masters see Daenerys messing up their fleet, and Tyrion discusses their surrender. Tyrion's line, "It always seems a bit abstract, doesn't it? Other people dying." Wow, I think we can put that line to many things in life where people run their mouths or do terrible things, but it's done to others, not them. So why do they care? It's so hard for them to imagine it being done to them or how they would feel. Then the masters turn on their friend, and Grey Worm killing those two was surprising and pretty awesome. Fuck Fairweather friends. I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen Grey Worm do something badass like that. Also, probably felt good to cut down a few of the people talking about selling himself and his lady love back into slavery, especially since he granted life to the guy that said he was going to sell them. And I like that Tyrion looked away from the two masters being killed. Tyrion has seen people die, but he gets no joy from it and wants to avoid it if possible. One of the many reasons Tyrion is a great advisor for Daenerys. Daenerys really has an amazing team in general, though. Theon and Yara showing up was a bit jarring at first. I understand why they did it, to save time and budget, because they didn't want to CGI in the Greyjoy fleet coming in. But again, when the scene started and Theon and Yara were there, it was kind of a, oh, we're here now? They're in Meereen? Oh. That's cool, I guess. And because it was Father's Day, they really nailed how shitty their fathers were. I appreciated Daenerys stating that even though their fathers were shit and left the world worse, that they weren't their fathers and they were going to leave the world better. That gives me hope for Daenerys not becoming the villain. Yara and Daenerys' little flirting was awesome, and I wouldn't mind them as a couple. Daenerys isn't against sleeping with the ladies. But what is Euron going to do with his ships? He's building this huge fleet. Do you think he's going to be happy that his niece and nephew destroyed his plan? Yeah, Dany can burn the fleet, but there comes a point when you just have too many enemies. How is she going to handle this? So in conclusion to the Meereen scenes, Daenerys having control of her dragons, amazing. The CGI, amazing. Daenerys heading to Westeros soon, fucking amazing. Moving on to the north, the meeting with Ramsay was fantastic. Glad someone finally brought up Jon deserting the Night's Watch, though I'm surprised Jon didn't try to explain it. I guess that really wasn't the time to explain to your enemy that you have this sick priestess that is way into necromancy. I want to believe the rumor that Jon left the Night's Watch and how dishonorable it is was what kept some of the Northerners from his side. Bastard child of a Stark that deserted an honorable organization that the North is proud of? Yeah, we'll pass. Well, the wildling thing didn't help either. But holy hell! Look at Lyanna Mormont's face when Ramsay talks about pardoning the treasonous lords. They should have just let her have a one-on-one battle with Ramsay. She would have torn out his throat with her pinky finger. Ramsay not being good with a sword, I believe, was a nod to his book character. Sadly, I guess that really was Rickon's direwolf shaggy dog. Incredibly small for a direwolf. And Sansa's last line about Ramsay sleeping well, he'll be dead tomorrow, was pretty epic. Next, the War Council with Tormund not knowing any battle strategy was fantastic. I loved Tormund more and more every episode. Davos and Tormund talking was also comical. I feel like Davos wasn't correct in saying Stannis didn't have any actual demons. Does he not remember the shadow baby he was around for? Also appreciated them talking about bad kings and how they're following Jon, who isn't a king. If only we lived in a world where Jon would become king and rock at it. And I think that discussion will be a little bit funny if it turns out that Jon does have royal blood, even though technically he's never been a king. Afterwards, Davos goes for a walk. Oh man, Davos finding Shireen's stag he gave her. This is not going to end well. He knows or highly suspects what happened to her. Next episode, he's going to confront Melisandre, and I can't wait for how that turns out. Davos is a rational, kind person. Will he keep his cool when Mel tells him what happened, or will he go apeshit? Not really sure about Sansa and her advice after the War Council. You never listen to me. Alright, what kind of advice do you have? I don't know. Just do some stuff. But in the end, she actually did give some really good advice when she said, you know, Ramsay is not going to fall into your trap. This dude is a professional psycho. So you need to not lose your temper, you need to not fall into his trap, and realize that this guy is he has his A game when it comes to fucking with people's heads. And Jon decided not to listen to the only advice pretty much that Sansa gave him and got fucked for it. So, good job, Jon. Melisandre loves seeing a less arrogant person. Her not being in the War Council says how far her ego has fallen. When Jon was asking her what she saw, her fall in confidence was so clear. Then her line about interpreting signs, and then she hesitates and says the best she could. Huge, huge sign of where she's at right now. Now I'm hoping Mel was sitting by the fire not because she's cold and still has little faith, but because she was looking for visions and guidance from the Lord of Light. She saw firsthand that the Lord of Light has not abandoned her. She was given power to bring Jon back. Yeah, she's done a lot of terrible things, but shouldn't that renew her faith a bit? That she is serving her God and he has not truly left her? I really think it was just because she was looking for visions, and I definitely think after seeing the Bolton banners torn down, she's gonna have a lot more faith in herself. Though still be a little bit more careful with her visions and being so sure of herself. She's shit at interpreting visions, and I think that's standard, and it's good that she's finally realized that. Not enthused with Jon telling her not to bring him back. He's likely very tired and still emotionally scarred, and maybe the first time being rezzed is the most shocking, even though you do lose bits of you every time. But him not wanting to come back again was a little heartbreaking. And what a powerful line. What kind of god would do that? The one we got. Then the battle begins, and seriously, because we didn't have enough reasons to hate Ramsay, he has to shoot down Rickon, who decided to run in a straight line. But to give the kid a break, when you're facing death and freaking out, do you really think to run in a zigzag? And Ramsay is so good of a hunter, I'm almost 99% positive Ramsay could have hit him, regardless if he was doing backflips and somersaults. And I'm sure not a single person watching the show thought Rickon was going to make it. Though not sure how his body wasn't trampled by all the horses that charged past his dead body. I thought the next time we saw him, he'd be a squishy mess. And of course Ramsay had this planned out from the start, and that's why he had burning flayed bodies out there as markers to judge distance to complete his sick game. Then Jon just ran forward in anger, and Davos knew exactly what was going down. Davos knows how he would respond if Shireen was cut down in front of him, and I think even if he wasn't imagining that, Davos knows people well enough, and he's said that before. He knows the nature of people. He knows Jon well enough, or the person that he is, how he was going to respond, and he instantly was like, okay, we gotta get this shit together, we're about to charge forward, follow your fucking commander. Him dropping his scabbard was amazing and a fuck it, let's go. The battle itself was visually stunning, no wonder it was submitted to the Emmys, and I like seeing Jon's men give their life or go out of their way to protect him during battle. That is what you do for your commander. You keep him the fuck alive. Davos not wanting to hit his own men with arrows was in huge contrast to Ramsay, which shooting your own men with arrows is something he learned from his daddy. Now, why didn't any of the Northerners turn on Ramsay? Jon set this up during their meeting. Hey, now your people know that you're not willing to fight for them. And then Ramsay sat back out of the fight during the battle, which isn't unprecedented in medieval battles, but still. And then he ordered the firing of arrows into an area with his own loyal men. Why didn't some of the Northerners that were on his side stop and think, holy shit, the Starks would have never done this. You're just fucking evil, dude. But I guess the Karstarks' dad execution hate and the Umbers' whatever fucking reason hate was just too strong. Oh right, wildlings. Not too excited that Jon was ready to die and his previously telling Mel not to bring him back. We see him give up when he was buried under the bodies, and for a little bit he thinks about just dying. But then the important part happens. And of course, backed up by the showrunners, is that even though for a moment he wanted to give up and die while under the bodies, he actually found in reality, he wanted to live, which really shows the Jon we're going to see. I think for a while he was unsure of what he wanted or how he should live the rest of his life. Reaching down and finding he wasn't done yet will propel him forward. Now, do you think Jon was just really lucky during this battle when there were a lot of times he should have been hit or killed? Or do you think the Lord of Light or some higher power was protecting him? I thought Tormund was dead for sure this battle, and watching him take that beating was brutal. They changed the sigil a bit in the show, but in the books, the Umbers have a giant as part of their sigil, and Tormund is known as Tormund Giantsbane. So Tormund Giantsbane killed small John Umber. Giantsbane? Get it? Get it? Oh, forget it. Love Sansa and Littlefinger watching the battle all smug. You know what would have been a great conversation to have with Jon before this battle? This plan right here you had. I get things don't pan out for Sansa and she wanted to keep her cards close to her chest, and honestly she wasn't even sure if the army would show up. But if she had told Jon about her message to the Vale, Jon could have waited just a little bit longer. Like literally a few hours. But if Ramsay knew about the Vale's soldiers, would he have actually gone inside Winterfell and just waited it out? It could have completely changed the battle. Fucking Littlefinger, he has Sansa just where he wants her, and he's definitely going to try to get her hand in marriage. And maybe she won't have a choice. He can tell her, hey, you have the North because of me. You have lots of enemies still. I can be your ally, or I can walk away and leave you to it. Waiting kept most of his army intact, and he now has enough of an incentive to try to bully Sansa into marriage. So then Ramsay retreats to Winterfell, where because we don't hate him enough, he kills 1-1. Come on, really? 1-1, you're a giant! And maybe it's just because I'm close to 5 foot tall, so I have some giant envy going on, but if I was a fucking giant going into battle, I would have a huge goddamn tree, and I'd be hitting people left and right. I would just charge right into that and just clear them away. Come on, 1-1. You're a giant, and we wanted to see you use a tree like a baseball bat. The shield versus bow and arrow thing was so cool, though if you look at the men surrounding them, they were looking at Jon like, dude, what are you doing? We could kill this fucker right now. What are you... Oh, you're doing a thing. He's doing a thing. Seeing Jon go crazy on him was desperately needed. This guy has messed with his family for too long. Seeing him start to go too far before looking at Sansa, someone that should have the finishing blow, was very well done. And Ramsay dying from his dogs was poetic in a way. Really hard to believe that guy is gone. His line to Sansa, "I'm a part of you now," was chilling. People that have survived horrific treatment by other human beings know that that shit can live in your head. Sansa isn't the same person she was before Ramsay. Sansa pre-Ramsay wouldn't have watched a man devoured by dogs without flinching. He changed her. Joffrey has changed her. She was a naive girl that believed in heroic knights and true everlasting love. Now she believes that no one is safe and no one can protect her. And if I were to put on my tinfoil hat, I would say, I know a certain someone that might be known, though not really. I'm actually still very confused about all that. But I don't have my tinfoil hat on, so I will say, let us move on. I really hope the "I'm part of you" line wasn't that she's pregnant, though I doubt she'd say his house is gone if she was. But who knows with the show writers. I got irrationally excited when Jon talked about putting Rickon in the crypts, and I know nothing's going to come of it. It's not like Jon is going to go in there and then suddenly open up Lyanna's crypt and be like, oh, look at here, there's a fucking harp, but sometimes the hype just gets to me and I can't control myself. It's a behavioral issue, really, if you look at it. Also, this battle is over and basically is a candy shop for the others, so I'm really hoping that they have some sweet bonfires going on, even though that smell is going to be awful. Though I'm 100% positive all 62 of the bears lived. Okay, I left this for the end because it's going to be groan-worthy. Ramsay said that talks of Jon being a badass have been circulating around. Now wait until people hear Jon has been resurrected. Okay, so Jon has a large white direwolf. Died, came back to kick ass, take names, fight a battle he should have lost, and retakes his home. Jon is becoming a legend. Jon is becoming a song that singers will tell over and over. Jon who fought through ice and snow, with fire in his stomach, to do what was right. It will be the song of... So thank you for watching, let's do giveaways. Last review's giveaway winner was Jed Hutchinson, who wrote a novel and it was hilarious. Thank you, good sir, for the entertainment. New chance to win a $20 gift card to Amazon. All you have to do is like this video. I know you already did that. And answer this question in the comment section below. What has been your favorite scene this season? So thank you for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and make sure you come back for more Game of Thrones, Star Wars, comics, sci-fi, fantasy, anything really. So in conclusion to the Meereen scenes, Daenerys having control of her dragons, amazing. The CGI, amazing. Daenerys heading to Westeros soon, fucking amazing. Amazing! Being unprofessional, Rawrist. You're being unprofessional. This is why, one of the many reasons why your videos only get 50,000 views. So, nobody